I was gift-wrapped by my family and delivered to the cold, brilliant professor as a paper wife. This devastatingly handsome academic god of a husband actually wants to set 3 house rules. Curfew at 10. No failed courses. Homework inspection every night. To graduate on time. I'll endure it. That same night, I shoved my laptop at him. Turn it in, score 3%. Please review. He loosened his tie instead, advancing step by step. Tonight we're checking the biology homework on human anatomy. Before we continue, subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comment section where you're listening from. My name is Serena, a grad student who only wants to graduate without drama. Except now I've picked up an extra title, Professor Vance's paper bride. My family's logistics firm is in trouble and needs a quick cash injection. The Vance family, meaning the man sitting in front of me, Professor Vance, are willing to throw us a lifeline. The condition, a marriage alliance. The candidates are me and M University's youngest, hottest, frostiest Professor Vance. My parents practically shrink-wrapped me and express-shipped me to the Vance estate. Their parting line, Serena, you kids take some time to build feelings first. I get it, really. A business marriage, every soap opera ever. It's only a name on a contract. Once the company stabilizes, we sign the divorce papers and go our separate ways. I'm making bank here. I score a free hunk husband, temporary sure, plus instant relief on the thesis nightmare. After all, my thesis advisor is Professor Vance. Since we'll be living together, let's establish a few rules up front. Professor Vance sits opposite me on the sofa, legs crossed. Behind the gold-rimmed lenses, his eyes are scalpels, icy, precise. I snap bolt upright. Fire away, sir. 1. Curfew at 10. I nod. I have no nightlife anyway. Late nights are bad for the skin. 2. No failed courses. I nod furiously. With a straight A god in the house, how could I flunk? That would smack his face. 3. Homework inspection nightly. I blink. Buddy, are you shopping for a wife or a student? Oh, right, I'm legally his wife and legitimately his student. To graduate, to survive that fatal thesis, I'll bear it. No problem. I slap my chest. Professor Vance, rest assured, I study hard and reach for the stars. He glances at me. A flash of resignation? Must be my imagination. A frosty peak like him doesn't do emotions. That night, I hug my trusty laptop and knock on the door of his study. Enter. Same chill factor. I scurry in, laptop first. Professor Vance, fresh draft, 3% similarity index. Please review. Ain't my speed and efficiency moving? His gaze schemes past the screen. He stands, slips off his glasses, parks them on the desk. Then he starts on his tie, 1 button, 2 buttons. I'm lost. Too hot? But the AC feels perfect. He closes in, tall silhouette exuding pressure. I step back. Professor Vance, something wrong with the paper? He stops in front of me, looks down. Paper tomorrow. Tonight we check biology homework. Bio what? I'm not a bio major. He chuckles. An arm circles my waist, tugs me in. I stiffen. Warm breath grazes my hair. Human anatomy, he murmurs. Boom, brain fireworks. Anatomy? Hold up. This wasn't the deal. Cold, celibate, paper only. I petrify, wooden, locked in his arms. Blank slate upstairs. Professor Vance, we agreed this was name only. I promised your parents I would take care of you, he whispers, nose almost brushing mine. But we are legally married, aren't we? He fishes 2 red booklets from his pocket and waves them. The marriage certificates blaze scarlet, stabbing my eyes. When did we even register? Mom hustled my family registry and the advisor needed my ID copy. Apparently the whole world was in on it. I'm the clueless deer helping count the money. Between spouses, deep academic exchange is normal, no? His voice is pure enchantment. And no, not normal at all. I'm near tears. Who exchanges academics like this? Oh, an eyebrow lifts. Then teach me the correct method. How should I know? 20-something virgin, never even held a boy's hand. How am I supposed to answer? Seeing my face about to combust, Professor Vance's smile widens. Looks like Morgan's theory is sorely lacking. He sighs. All noble responsibility. As husband and advisor, I must remedy that. He scoops me up bridal style.
Eek!
I shriek, arms flying around his neck. Don't worry, he says, carrying me toward the bedroom, step steady. This course is pass-fail by hands-on experiment. Where's the cold, Professor? The contract marriage? This is warp speed. The bedroom glows warm amber, softer than the living room glare. He sets me gently on the plush duvet. I scoot to the headboard, clutching the quilt like a terrorized rabbit. Don't you dare. He laughs outright. Relax, today's just the preview session. No lab practical. He perches half a meter away. We start with the basics. Such as? I squeak. Pulse, for instance. He extends a hand. I place mine in it after a beat. His fingers are long, palm warm with faint calluses. The instant his skin touches my wrist, a current races through me. 98 beats per minute, he announces, eyes lifting. Morgan, you're nervous. No kidding. Calm down. He keeps my hand. Now take mine. He guides my fingers to his wrist. Steady, powerful beats drum against my fingertips. Thump, thump, hammering my own heart. What's the count? He asks.
I
can't count. The air has turned pink. I can't breathe. Fine, let's try a different site. He draws my hand slowly to his chest. Through the thin shirt his heartbeat pounds. Thud, thud, thud. Calm, regular, alive. Mine gallops, about to vault my throat. Morgan, he murmurs, mouth at my ear. Your heart's racing too. He presses my palm over his heart, then covers my own chest with his free hand.
see?
They're sinking. I'm thoroughly stupefied. Why is this 10 times filthier than dirty talk? He's no aloof scholar. He's a fox spirit sent to torment innocent maidens. Still nervous, he whispers. I shake my head, automatically. Nerves? They've exited the atmosphere. All I register is the furnace of his chest and that steady drumbeat. Good. He nods, satisfied. You're a fast learner. Preview ends here. Get some sleep. With that, he stands up and actually leaves.
Gone?
Just like that. I sit on the bed, hugging the blanket, dazed. What just happened? M University's dreamiest professor carried me in, gave an unprecedented biology preview, and walked out? I looked down, clothes intact. Doorway, empty. What does that make him? Hit and run flirt? An inexplicable loss floods me. I'm screwed. I think I've accidentally upped the ante. Next morning I trudged downstairs with twin pandas under my eyes. I'd tossed all night, brain looping Professor Vance. His hands, his heartbeat, that low voice, the faint cedar scent. I feel like a perv. He's already at the dining table, razor-creased suit, gold glasses, the picture of icy celibacy, as if last night's whispered preview were my hormone-induced dream. Fine china holds breakfast. Croissants, omelette, hot milk. Morning.
Morning.
Sleep well? He asks casually. I almost aspirate milk. Sleep well? I nearly ascended to heaven. Fine, I mutter. He sets down his fork, dabs his mouth. You've got dark circles. Was the preview too tough? Could we not utter preview again? My face is reheating. Nope, new bed syndrome. I fib.
You'll adapt, he nods.
Adapt? To the bed, or to him. I shut up and bury myself in carbs. No class for you this afternoon, he says, adjusting cufflinks. 3 p.m. sharp, City Hall. Huh. I look up, stunned. Why City Hall? I gesture between us. Aren't we done? Indeed, he answers. We're taking the photos. Photos? My brain flashes those nightmare passport pics on marriage licenses. Wait, if we haven't posed yet, where did yesterday's red books come from? Reading my face, he supplies. Yesterday's certificate was fast-tracked. The photo was photoshopped from your student ID. The lengths you people go to make me legitimate are criminal. No wonder Mom demanded my student ID for the file. Every step was a trap. I'm not going. I blurt. Uffed. Once we stand before the lens, the marriage is carved in stone. Right now, at least the picture is fake. I can still lie to myself. Professor Vance pauses mid-motion. He turns. Lenses flash. Reason. No anger, no annoyance, just calm demand for justification. But somehow, the pressure felt mountainous.
I
I have something this afternoon. I blurted the first lie that popped into my head. I need to hit Beaumont for sources, my thesis. All the journals you need, domestic and foreign, are in my study. Help yourself. He slammed that door shut with a single sentence.
I
I'm meeting a friend. Which friend? Guy or girl? Where? Should I drive you? The questions came like a hailstorm. Me? What friend? I'm a total shut-in. Cat got your tongue. He stepped in front of me, leaned down, and planted both hands on the dining table, caging me inside his arms. The pose was suffocating. Serena, he said, voice low. We're married. Some things are obligations. Obligations. Last night it was the obligation of marital communication. Today it's the obligation of a photo session. Did I accidentally sign a lifelong indenture? But this is just a contract marriage. I summoned my courage and looked straight at him. Once I graduate and my family's company is safe, we'll divorce. The moment the words left my mouth, I saw Professor Vance's eyes dim. Contract. He straightened, a curve on his lips I couldn't read. Who told you that? My parents. Didn't they mention the term? Term? My heart lurched. Forever. He tossed the word out lightly, yet it weighed like 3 mountains crushing my lungs. Forever? My parents sold me? For life? I shot up so fast the chair screeched across the floor. No way. You're lying. Panic. Total panic. I yanked out my phone, fingers trembling so hard I almost dropped it, and speed-dialed Mom. She picked up at once. Hey, Serena, how's it going with little Vance? Getting along. She sounded downright festive.
Mom,
My voice cracked.
did you sell me?
Professor Vance says this marriage is forever. A few seconds of silence. Then her voice came back. Oh, stop saying sold. So ugly. Adrian's handsome, brilliant, and your professor. Marrying him is a jackpot, Mom. Besides, want your thesis approved? Want to graduate? Professor Vance is willing to help. Be grateful. Click. She hung up on me. I stood frozen, phone in hand, feeling the sky collapse. My own mother sold me, with a lifetime warranty. Any more questions? Professor Vance spoke from above. I lifted my head slowly, stared at that unfairly perfect face, and wanted to cry. Questions? A million. My youth, my freedom, all the cute boys in my future gone. Professor Vance, I sniffled, making a last stand. I really don't think we're compatible. I'm dense, I goof off, I'll drag you down. How about we just call it off? Incompatible, he echoed, then actually smiled. Serena, do you have any idea how long I've waited for you to be compatible? I blinked. Waited? What did he mean? I was lost. Wait. I'm the unapproachable academic star of M University. Outside class, we never even crossed paths. Could it be? Did you mistake me for someone else? I asked carefully. Isn't that every drama ever? Cold CEO grabs the wrong Cinderella? Professor Vance studied me, eyes a mix of exasperation and amusement. Serena, M University, School of Economics, second-year grad, student ID 2021 XXXXXX, advisor, Professor Vance. He rattled off my info like a grocery list. Want my social security number too? No, thanks. I shrank, so no mix-up, which made it weirder. Then, why wait for me? Curiosity overrode everything. Instead of answering, he asked, remember the freshman welcome gala 3 years ago? 3 years ago? Welcome gala? I scoured my brain. Sophomore year, student council grunt, backstage runner. That night was chaos. Lights died, mics cut out. I almost face-planted while hauling props. Sort of, vaguely. I hesitated. Total mess. There was a senior pianist who lost his sheet music right before going on, he prompted. Pianist senior? A bell rang in my head. Yes. He'd been frantic, white as paper. I'd pitted him and handed over my own score for Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star Variations, slated for a later student show. I even slapped his shoulder. Chill, senior, easy piece, you got this. If you crash, most people won't notice. He stammered through that exact piece, save the stage. Afterward, he thanked me, but I waved him off while hunting the next act. Wait. My eyes ballooned. That nervous pianist was you? A PhD candidate and campus legend lowering himself to an undergrad welcome gig? So scared he lost his music? Professor Vance looked briefly mortified, adjusted his glasses, and glanced away. A tiny yes slipped out. If I hadn't been close, I'd have missed it. Holy, lightning straight to the skull. The timid kid I'd consoled was Professor Vance, and I'd told him no one would notice if he bombed. With his current chops, he probably wanted to vaporize me on the spot. So, my voice shook. You fell for me because I gave you sheet music for Twinkle, Twinkle? He stayed silent. Then, gaze steady. It wasn't the score. It was when you said, "It's fine. Everyone messes up sometimes. Try again next time." He imitated my tone horribly. I was prepping a huge international project, pressure through the roof. He went on, voice low. Everyone kept saying, "Professor Vance, you must crush this. You can't fail." Only a random freshman told a screw-up, "It's okay." So that's it. A throwaway line had warmed him at his lowest. Plant a shade tree without noticing? I felt bashful. Titch, that was nothing. I scratched my head. Anyone would have said it, but you said it. His gaze pinned me. From that day, I kept tabs. I watched you advance, pick me as advisor, tear your hair over your thesis. When your father came to the Vance family for help, I asked for the marriage.
Words failed me.
Turns out this corporate alliance wasn't a transaction at all, so I licked dry lips. 3 p.m., City Hall, photo session. I realized my tone had shifted from refusal to tentative inquiry. A faint but genuine smile flashed across Professor Vance's eyes. I'll pick you up. Wear something nice.
He tacked on.
Then he grabbed his briefcase and headed out. At the door he paused, looked back. Serena. Last night's preview session was only foundational. Academic exploration of human anatomy is a long-term project. The corner of his mouth lifted, devastatingly handsome. We continue tonight. Door shut. Footsteps faded. He left me standing in chaos. So, tonight he's grading homework again?
Dear God.
2:50 p.m. sharp. I'm outside City Hall. White sundress, light makeup, check. Professor Vance told me to look nice. Can't embarrass us. My brain's still at war, but my body surrendered. Whenever I picture that years-long secret crush, I can't harden my heart. What if rejection flunks me on his long-term project? Degree first, degree first. Adrian's car glides to the curb on time. No suit today, just a white shirt with sleeves rolled to the elbow, tanned forearms on display. Less aloof professor, more laid-back neighbor. He steps out, takes my hand like it's the natural thing to do. Let's go. His palm is big, warm, swallows mine whole. My face burns. Serena, get a grip. The photo session flies by. The clerk, a starstruck girl, practically glows at Adrian. Smile sweeter, closer, yes. Groom can rest his hand on bride's shoulder. He obeys, arm hooking me in. I stiffen, frozen grin at the lens. Click, lifelong souvenir captured. Red booklet still warm. I stare at my goofy smile and his look of quiet triumph, emotions a tornado. Just like that. I'm a married woman? What do you want for dinner? Adrian asks on the drive back. Anything's fine. Still digesting the title, married woman. Can't be anything. He's serious. From now on, I cook dinner. Tell me what you like. He cooks? A pampered finance professor? You can actually cook? Skepticism dripping. A bit. Eyes on the road. I trained for a long time for today. There it is again. The everything I do, I did for you line. Stop. My maiden heart can't take it. I like sweet and sour ribs and Coke chicken wings. I list softly. Noted.
He nods.
Back at the Vance estate, he heads straight to the kitchen. I pad after him like a curious kitten and get my mind blown. Apron tied, he rinses, slices, flips the wok. Fluid poetry. More professional than a five-star chef. Dinner was lavish, for dishes and a soup, every one of them my favorites. The sweet and sour ribs were perfectly balanced, the Coca-Cola chicken wings, so tender they slid off the bone. I ate with my head down, unable to stop. Good, he asked, slipping another rib onto my plate. So good, I answered, mouth crammed, words garbled. Professor Vance, what other hidden talents don't I know about? Plenty, he said, smiling. From now on, you can unearth them slowly. In his eyes lingered a gentleness I'd never seen before. For instance, tonight's assignment review. I'll teach you a few new concepts.
Buffed.
The mouthful of soup I'd just sipped nearly shot across the table. Bro, can we not bring up such heart-racing topics in the middle of a cozy, romantic moment? The heartbeat I just calmed went wild again. After we finished, I volunteered to wash dishes. He refused. Go shower, then wait for me in his study, he said, stacking plates. I have a gift for you. A gift? What kind of gift? Please don't be another shock. I showered, changed into pajamas, and inched toward his study door, stomach fluttering. I drew a deep breath and pushed it open. Professor Vance sat behind the desk, a beautifully wrapped box in front of him. Come here, he beckoned. I walked over, heart drumming. What is it? Open it. I peeled away the paper. Inside was a folder. Puzzled, I flipped it open, then froze. It was a thesis. A complete, logically airtight, data-rich, model-worthy thesis. The byline read my name, and the title was the one I'd scratched my head over and finally chosen at random. This? I looked up, too stunned to speak. It's only a first draft, he explained. I think this angle suits you best and gives you the highest chance to shine. All the data and references are sorted, but the actual arguments have to come from you. I won't have my wife submit a cut-and-paste job. His tone was utterly serious, no joke. My nose stung. He hadn't simply dropped a perfect paper on me for a quick signature. He'd paved every road, picked the ideal direction, hunted down the toughest numbers, then left the very heart, the part that demanded my own thought, squarely in my hands. In his own way, he was showing respect and trust. Why are you this good to me? He rose, came around the desk, and drew me into his arms. He kissed my forehead, featherlight. Because, he murmured, voice warm enough to drip, you're my wife. I waited 3 years, not so you could keep stressing over graduation. Serena, from today on, every worry of yours is mine to solve. Tears burst free. I buried my face in his chest, felt his steady heartbeat, and sobbed outright. All right, stop crying, he soothed, patting my back. Any more, and your eyes will swell. Tonight's assignment review still on? He asked suddenly. I lifted my tear-streaked face and glared. This guy's a mood killer. The fragile emotion I'd built up popped like a soap bubble. Seeing my puff-cheek fury, he laughed aloud and pinched my face, teasing over. But his tone dropped, eyes darkening again. The long-term project can't be paused. Today we start lesson 2. Topic title. He paused, enunciating, How to properly kiss your husband. My brain blue-screened. Topic title? How to properly kiss your husband. Professor Vance, are you sure this is academia and not some pay-per-view CEO romance trope? My worldview has been reformatted twice today and is about to crash. How do we study? I stammered. Theory plus practice, he answered, perfectly grave. First, the theory. He tugged me to the sofa and powered on the big wall screen. What appeared wasn't a lecture slide, but an art house romance. Soft lighting, lilting score, the leads gazing soulfully. Watch here, he said, voice low, the perfect tutor. A successful kiss demands atmosphere. Eye contact is step 1 for emotional transfer. On screen, the hero cupped the heroine's cheek, gaze molten. My cheeks burned. I sneaked a peek at him. He watched with academic absorption, as if solving differential equations. Next, body contact. The hero leaned in. The heroine tilted her head, eyes drifting shut. Notice the angle, his voice hypnotized. A comfortable angle enhances the experience. Me. I wasn't watching a movie. I was enrolled in an online course. Premium tier. And the professor sat right beside me. The kiss unfolded gorgeously, languid and lingering. I felt feverish, but he remained placid, pausing now and then to highlight key points. See how he controls breathing here. That playful nip adds spice. Precision matters. I thought I'd combust. Professor Vance, where's your faculty ethics? Your spotless reputation? Abandoned without a trace. When the credits finally rolled, I was limp. Theory section complete, he announced, powering off the projector. Morgan, any questions? Questions? I'm the question. My entire operating system is glitching. And none. I rattled my head.
Good.
He nodded, satisfied. Then we proceed to practice. Practice. His study was dim, only a floor lamp casting honeyed light. He moved closer, the gap shrinking until I could count his lashes and see my own panicked reflection. My palms sweated, my heart jackhammered. Relax, he coaxed. Apply what you just learned. Apply? Classroom knowledge is not equal to live experiment. My mind blinked, every film frame erased. Seeing my freeze, he gave a helpless chuckle. Looks like the instructor must demonstrate. He cradled the back of my head, fingers sliding through damp hair, cool yet comforting. Slowly he dipped. Warm breath fanned my face. I squeezed my eyes shut. A soft, cool brush, lips meeting lips, quick as a dragonfly. I blinked, dazed. He studied me, eyes smiling. That was step one, reconnaissance. My cheeks could have fried eggs. So this is kissing? Not the cinematic typhoon I'd imagined. More like spring drizzle seeping into bone. Your turn, he said. My turn. Staring at his mouth inches away, I summoned every shred of courage. Awkwardly, I leaned in, mirrored his peck, then sprang back like a startled rabbit. Not bad, he approved. Progress. But his tone shifted. Emotional investment insufficient. Kissing conveys love. Your husband has to feel it.
Love?
Do we have that? Looking into his earnest eyes, I remembered the gala 3 years ago, the thesis outline he'd built for me, the first dinner he cooked. Maybe this is love. Being treasured, being guarded, something I've never tasted. My heart softened. This time I leaned in first, tilted my head clumsily, responded shyly. I had no script. Instinct was my only guide. Sensing my surrender, he deepened the kiss. Reason evaporated. The world dissolved. I don't know how long it lasted before we parted. I sagged against him, gulping air, limbs liquid. He held me, chin resting on my hair, chest heaving. Morgan, he rasped. Today's practicum? Perfect score. Perfect? I nearly failed. This man's skill. Is he honestly a novice? I suspect clandestine tutoring. All right, bedtime. He patted my back. I extricated myself, knees wobbling. I'll sleep in my room, I whispered. Even with the new intimacy, sharing a bed felt too much. He raised a brow. Your room? He pointed toward the master suite. Our room is right there. From tonight it's yours. I'll take the guest room. He'd surrender the master to me. No way. I shook my head furiously. That's your space. Ours, he corrected. Husband and wife, no divide. I insist on the guest room, he said firmly. I climbed into his vast bed. The linen smelled of him, crisp cedar and something warm. I tossed, unable to switch off my brain. That kiss replayed on loop. And his syllabus. How to properly kiss your husband. Only lesson 2. What could lessons 3, 4 possibly cover? I didn't dare imagine. My grad school life had careened onto a very different track. Next morning, the alarm wrenched me awake. I had lecture at 9. Couldn't be late. I stumbled downstairs to find breakfast waiting and Professor Vance, still in an apron, packing my notebook and pens beside the plates. Eat up, then I'll drive you, he said. I watched his broad back moving between stove and counter, chest flooding with warmth. Being cared for. It felt incredible. I can take the bus. Don't you have a board meeting? I remembered he also ran part of the Vance shipping empire. Not taking the subway today, he said. Today, I'm your personal chauffeur. Here we go again. Another one of those heart-fluttering, cheek-burning lines. I've discovered that since Professor Vance confessed, he's completely let himself off the leash. Sweet talk spills out of him without warning. He flirts so subtly you don't even feel the net until you're already caught. On the drive to campus, I rode shotgun, sneaking glances at him. A man behind the wheel is always attractive, especially one like Professor Vance, handsome face, gorgeous hands. I was mid-daydream when he asked, "What are you staring at?"
Huh?
And nothing. I yanked my gaze away and pretended to admire the scenery. He chuckled softly, but didn't call me out. The air in the car tasted like sugar water. When we stopped at Hawthorne Hall, I reached for the door. "Wait," Professor Vance said. He leaned over. I instinctively shrank back, certain he was about to, but he only tucked a stray strand of hair behind my ear. "Pay attention in class," he murmured, gentle as cashmere. "Lunch together at noon." "Oh, okay." I nodded, cheeks on fire. The skim of his fingertip along the shell of my ear lingered like static. I bolted from the car like a petty thief and sprinted into the building without looking back. My heart was still hammering when I slid into my seat. Chloe, stationed beside me, leaned in with glittering gossip eyes. "Serena, you're off today. Why's your face so red? Fall in love?" And no, I denied instantly. "Hello, I'm married." Way above mere dating. But Professor Vance and I can't go public. He's my advisor, and Ellis, no, Sam, or whatever, rumors would be toxic. To keep lying, Chloe scoffed. "You look lovesick." Which department's hottie managed to pollinate this 1,000-year iron tree? "I told you nobody." I stonewalled. "Fine, I already know," she declared, face lighting up with faux enlightenment. "It's Professor Vance, right?" My stomach jumped. "How did you guess? Was I that obvious?" "Duh." She rolled her eyes. "During his lecture, your eyeballs superglued to him. The whole class knows you've got a secret crush on Professor Vance." "Me? Seriously?" I hadn't even noticed. "Save yourself the heartbreak," she advised, patting my shoulder like a wise elder. "That iceberg of a man is mortal fantasy territory. Department queens have confessed and been shot down in flames. Plus," she dropped her voice, "I heard he's already married." "What?" I almost catapulted off my chair.
Who told you?
"Is it true? Last week I saw a wedding ring on his left ring finger. Pure gold, zero doubt," she whispered. "Girls campus-wide are buying tissues in bulk." Wedding ring. I forced my memory to rewind. Yesterday at City Hall he had worn one. I'd been too nervous to notice. And mine? I glanced at my bare finger. Empty. He never gave me a ring? So he gets to flash, taken while I stay blank? What? Afraid I'll tarnish his untouchable professor brand. Or worried the admirers will stop flocking. Jerk. The more I brooded, the angrier I got. The morning lectures slid past unheard, every slide spelling RANG. When class finally ended, I yanked out my phone and thumped out an iMessage. "I'm not eating with you at noon. I'm having a date with my bestie." Attached, a waving goodbye emoji. The second it delivered, I wanted to bite my tongue off. Had I been too rash? If he got annoyed, would tonight's homework inspection double in volume? My phone buzzed, his name on the screen. I hesitated, then picked up. "Hello. Where are you?" "C classroom." "Who's your date?" Just Chloe, my roommate." "Bring her. I'll wait at West. There's a new omakase place, good reviews." He hung up. I blinked. Who was that? Chloe leaned in. And no one. I pocketed the phone. "Chloe, let me treat you to omakase." "Fancy, did you rob a bank?" She glowed. "Something like that," I muttered. After all, the bill wouldn't land on my card. We walked to Westgate. His black sedan was already curbside. Today he'd swapped the professorial tweed for a crisp white shirt and charcoal trousers, leaning against the doorframe like a runway ad. "Holy," Chloe gasped beside me. "That's Professor Vance. Why is he here?" Before I could answer, he saw us and strode over. "Serena," he called, perfectly natural. Chloe's jaw unhinged. She ping-ponged her stare between him and me, pupils screaming. My ship is cannon. Jamie, Chloe squeaked. Hello. He nodded politely, then focused on me. Get in. He opened the passenger door with practiced ease. I slid in, feeling Chloe's incredulous gaze drill holes through the headrest. The drive felt extraterrestrial. Chloe sat statue-still in back. I sat petrified in front. Only Professor Vance remained Earth-normal, humming along to jazz on the stereo. At the omakase bar, he reserved a quiet booth and handed us the menu. Order whatever you like. Chloe didn't dare. She shoved the slate at me. You do it. I picked a few random courses. Once the chef fired up the grill, Chloe swallowed and whispered, Serena, you and Professor Vance? I stalled. We're dating. Professor Vance interjected, voice calm as lecture notes, yet the words detonated like TNT in my eardrums. Chloe's chopsticks clattered onto the counter. She stared, brain visibly rebooting. Serena is my girlfriend, he continued, plating a slice of salmon belly for me as though he weren't casually rewriting my life in front of my best friend. Then came the coup de grace. He produced a velvet box, flicked it open, revealing a delicate diamond ring. Taking my left hand, he slipped the icy circle onto my fourth finger. Perfect fit. Sorry, I was swamped and forgot earlier, he said, eyes soft with something that looked suspiciously like apology. From today, you're officially off the market. And no more lunchtime dates with random besties. My mind went white. He hadn't forgotten at all. He'd stage managed this reveal for an audience of one. Chloe, my gossip queen roommate. A public apology and a flag-planting exercise rolled into one. This man was a master strategist, and I'd just been outmaneuvered again. Across the counter, Chloe had petrified into a modern-day Pompeian. Her eyes flicked from the diamond to Professor Vance to me, radiating pure you-have-won-at-life awe. No way I could talk myself out of this. So much for Secret Crush. This was mutual free-fall straight to City Hall. The meal sat in my stomach like lead. Chloe oscillated between stunned silence and uncontainable glee, texting me under the table the entire time. Holy crap, Serena, how? Professor Vance just flex romanced you in front of me. Cinema-level stuff. Spill, how far have you gone? Holding? Kissing? Or the home run already? I read her raver messages and wished the tatami would swallow me. Professor Vance sat opposite, serene as Buddha. Though the faint uptick at the corner of his mouth betrayed him, he was reading every vibration of my mortification. Afterward, he offered to drive us back to Whitman. Chloe declined, claiming she needed the library to digest the shock. Translation: give the lovebirds privacy. Best wingwoman ever. The ride home was just the two of us. I fiddled with the ring. The diamond threw sparks every time we passed under a streetlight. Don't like it? He asked suddenly. No. It's beautiful. Good. He closed his hand over mine. Never take it off.
Bossy.
I secretly loved it. When did you buy it? I whispered. A long time ago. Always that answer. How many long time agos did he have stockpiled? Professor Vance, I ventured. Did you like me way before today? I already knew, but I needed to hear him say it. He was quiet for a beat, then nodded. From when? The moment you handed me the twinkle score and said, it's okay, everyone botches sometimes. Exactly what I'd guessed. My heart dissolved into warm syrup. Then why didn't you tell me sooner? I pouted. You have no idea how intimidating you seemed. I even secretly crushed on you for ages. The last line came out mosquito small. Shameful. Confessing my stalker-level adoration right to his face. He glanced over, eyes soft as flannel. I knew. You knew. You camped front row in every lecture, watched me like I was the only screen in a movie theater. Took the most meticulous notes, invented questions just to linger after class. A smile tugged at his lips. Serena, you couldn't have been more obvious if you'd taped neon arrows to your forehead. Kaboom. My face combusted. So my stealth crush had been about as stealthy as a fireworks show. I'd basically been a juggling monkey trying to impress the zookeeper, who'd already put the banana in my cage. I wanted to evaporate. So, he went on, when I proposed the marriage contract and your parents accepted immediately, I knew my wager had paid off. His gamble, that my hidden affection wasn't zero. He wasn't just a master strategist, he was a high-stakes gambler, and I'd been both the roulette wheel and the jackpot. The car stopped outside Whitman. I reached for the door, desperate to escape and scream into a pillow. "Come home early," he said, catching my wrist.
I
"I have to work on my thesis in Beaumont." I lied. I needed oxygen, solitude, time to digest the emotional feast. Thesis. He lifted an eyebrow. "Didn't I give you enough material?" "That's not right at home. There's a study, there's me. Better resources than any library." He sounded so reasonable I couldn't object. Besides, he leaned in and whispered against my ear, "Tonight's homework check is moving to a new location." Where? I asked, full stuttering. "The bedroom." His voice carried lethal temptation. "The topic is knowledge through practice." My heart launched into another frantic drum solo. Help! That evening I marched back to the palatial place I was now supposed to call home, steeling myself like a convict heading for the gallows. Professor Vance was already there, bustling around the kitchen. The dining table held a handful of delicate dishes, every one of them my favorites. The scent of home-cooked food curled through the air, softening the knot in my stomach. "Back." He poked his head out, flashing a smile. "Go wash up. Dinner's almost ready." His grin was warm, winter sun warm. "Come home each day to a gorgeous husband who rolls up his sleeves and cooks for you." Wasn't that the married life I'd always daydreamed about? Sure, the road here had a few switchbacks. After we ate, I lunged for the dishes. This time Professor Vance didn't fight me. He lounged in the doorway, watching me fumble through a skirmish with a stack of porcelain. "Serena." I hummed, in an unexpectedly good mood. "You seem happy here." It's okay," I answered offhandedly. "Happy with the house? Or with the company in it?" he pressed. My scrubbing pad froze. The question was way outside the syllabus. Did I like the man in the house? Did I like Professor Vance? I turned. He wore simple lounge clothes, shoulder-propped against the frame. The overhead light fractured across his lenses, like tiny stars. He was exactly my type, bone structure carved by somebody who understood aesthetic balance. He was brilliant, Olympian-level brain power. He was good to me, so good it felt surreal. He cooked, coached my thesis, planned surprises, kissed me tenderly. It hit me. I really, truly liked him. Not the dazzled student variety. Not leftover gratitude for some childhood sheet music rescue. Just a woman liking a man, plain and pure. Both. I mumbled at the sink, cheeks blazing. A low chuckle drifted over. Wicked musical. Plate duty finished. I towel-dried my hands and prepared to sprint for sanctuary. "Where do you think you're going?" He caught my wrist. "Be back to bed," I stammered, eyes anywhere but on him. "Homework unchecked? No bedtime for you." He arched a brow. He towed me straight to the master suite. The lighting was dialed down to a candle glow, a single bedside lamp painting the room amber. Atmosphere? Off the charts charged. "So, what's tonight's quiz?" I whispered, heart jackhammering. Instead of answering, he opened the nightstand and pulled out a lecture recorder. "What's that?" I blinked. "Your morning lecture, core course," he said. I sat in, recorded it. Figured you might have missed details. Me. "You audited my class and taped it just to grill me later. Professor or parole officer?" "Let's review the highlights, shall we?" He pressed play. A veteran prof's booming baritone filled the room. "Today we discuss Adam Smith's invisible hand in macroeconomics." I turned to stone. This is the bedroom homework check. I'd braced for, well, pants were involved in my imagination, just not in this context. I stole a glance at Professor Vance. Profile severe, expression scholarly. 1 minute whispering filthy promises, the next demanding a book report. The gear shift should have whiplashed me into next week. "Understand it?" He clicked stop and swiveled toward me. "Why, yeah," I fibbed. Truth. I'd heard 0%. My brain kept looping knowledge through practice. "Then define the invisible hand," he lobbed. Me. I stammered something that sounded like English, but made no economic sense. He exhaled, Classic disappointed mentor. Theories still shaky, Morgan. Passive listening won't cut it. He snapped the recorder shut and leaned in. Some lessons need hands-on application. Here we go again. Review session. My foot. I squeezed my eyes shut, waiting for the category 5 kiss I knew was coming. Nothing. I peeked. Professor Vance wore an enormous, teasing grin. Morgan, what exactly were you anticipating? Me. I'd been punked royally. Professor Vance. I punched his shoulder. All right, torture over. He captured my fist, kissed my knuckles. Long day. Get some sleep. He tugged the quilt to my chin. Good night. Just like that, parole granted? I lay beside him, watching the ceiling, the whole scene dreamlike. He faced me, breathing slow and even. In the honeyed lamplight, his angles looked softer. I couldn't resist. I traced his brow, the bridge of his nose, that decisive jaw, lips that spat fire at board meetings and whispered sins against my ear. Pretty sure he was asleep. My courage upgraded. I leaned in, brushed my mouth over his, copying the way he'd kissed me yesterday. A soft laugh vibrated against my lips. He'd been faking. Mortification ignited. I tried to burrow into the mattress. In one fluid motion, he rolled over me. Morgan, he rasped, voice velvet in smoke. If you're handing an extra credit, who am I to refuse? Tonight's advanced seminar, anatomy, intensive lab. Morning arrived hand in hand with a body-wide ache. Sunlight sliced through the curtain gap, bright enough to punish. I shifted, felt like I'd been paved over by a steamroller. Last night replayed in HD. Professor Vance's kisses, his breath on my skin, the inferno of shared body heat. My face combusted. I turned. The space beside me was empty. Nightstand. One glass of warm water. One sticky note in decisive ink. Making breakfast. Drink when you wake. Took the liberty of excusing you from classes today. A day off. Lovely. Felt more like I needed medical leave. The man looked icily aristocratic in public, but his practical know-how was terrifyingly thorough. Wouldn't put it past him to hold a clandestine PhD in applied kinesiology. I hobbled to the bathroom. Mirror confirmed the crime scene. Sallow complexion, but eyes sparkling, traitors. Neck, collarbones, constellation of crimson stamps. Beast. I'd begged for no love bites. He treated the request like decorative advice. How exactly was I supposed to show up in public? I turtlenecked up and limped downstairs. Professor Vance emerged from the kitchen balancing plates. He paused, gaze landing on the sliver of bruise my collar failed to hide. Ears flushed crimson, visible even from across the room. Ahem. He cleared his throat, suddenly fascinated by the fruit bowl. Sleep well? Breakfast is ready. Mr. Prim and Proper, remembering last night's unrated cut. Adorable contradiction. I slid into my seat, spooning oatmeal while glaring. Professor Vance, you went totally overboard. Look at my neck. I yanked the sweater down as evidence. I'm a walking graffiti wall. He glanced, pupils darkening, Adam's apple bobbing. Sorry, he murmured. I'll be more careful next time. Next time, keep dreaming, pal. Inner voice. You'd actually love a next time. Yeah, maybe I would. Those marks screamed possession, and the person doing the possessing was him. I really don't have to go in? I asked. I still have lectures. Already emailed your professors, cited health issues. Fair. I felt issues plural. Spend the day horizontal. Thesis can wait, he added. What about you? Quick trip to the office. Back after lunch. He suited up. Instant transformation to icy finance deity. Before leaving, he slipped behind me, caged me against the counter, dropped a feather-light kiss on the one bruise guaranteed to peek above fabric. Wait for me. Silence inflated the moment the front door clicked. I collapsed on the sofa, clutching a cushion, replaying the insane highlight reel. Contract marriage, lifelong secret crush upgraded to mutual, professor turned husband. I pinched my arm, hurt like hell.
Real.
I'd married my longtime idol, and he'd already loved me back. Netflix would kill for the script. I located my phone and opened Chloe's chat. 99 unread missiles demanding after-action report. I typed, "Don't ask." Lower back strain level. Critical. Chloe replied in microseconds, "OMG." Then a hurricane of screaming blobs. Queen Serena takes the home run.
Spill, spill, spill.
I muted the thread and buried my face in the cushion. Afternoon, Professor Vance returned bearing strawberry shortcake, my personal kryptonite. Sore? He eased down and pulled me into the crook of his arm. Manageable, I said, already half asleep against his shoulder. Dinner cravings?
Pass.
I'd rather check homework, I challenged, tilting my head. Surprise flickered, then a slow, lethal smile. He dipped, claiming my mouth. Gladly. The words were muffled, delicious. My eager Morgan, Professor promises to teach you thoroughly. Outside, sunlight flickered through leaves, breeze gentle, world perfectly still. Our story had only just opened its cover. Every sunrise going forward would pair lecture notes with whispered problem sets, footnotes written in kisses. A lifelong research project, co-authored, peer-reviewed nightly. And I, for one, couldn't wait to annotate every page. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed, hit like and share. Leave us your thoughts below, subscribe for more stories, and see you next chapter.